Well, I mean, on the bigger grand scheme of the things, in the context of soul evolution over lifetimes, there's continuously awakening going on, right? Progressing, right? But sometimes there's a law of ascent and descent. Before we can go, there's another divine law. Before we can go to higher levels of being and awakening, we need to descend depth into our unconscious and clear out everything that's not clear out within ourselves and in the world. So when it seems to be going very dark, it's actually also necessary evolutionary process to clear out, to face everything we have avoided within ourselves and without. Hence, Carl Jung said, the famous quote, symbolically meaning, the tree that reaches to heaven needs to have its roots in hell. Or as Sri Aurobindo said, no one can not awaken who has not gone through hell, right? So proverbially meaning, which is the law of ascent and descent, meaning there's only, again, go as high into a high awakening state, as low as you go within yourself, shadow work, and like all of that, what's unconscious needs to be made conscious of, right? That's like another famous quote by Carl Jung: enlightening is not imagining figures of light, but making the darkness conscious, which means don't fall into spiritual bypassing, right? Of just like avoiding all the dark, the evil, not only outside, but within yourself, most importantly. But you also can get stuck there. That's the trap we see the black pill truthers, right? Getting stuck in darkness because they don't do the inner work in order to clear it all. So it clouds their vision. But right now, I think we are in an accelerated time. I call it the time of transition in many of my articles, even the program. And that's not a term I came up with. That's actually a term from a book series called Gnosis, called 3-volume book series Gnosis, written by Boris Muraviev. It's based on the fourth way teachings like Gurdjieff, also based on esoteric Christianity. In my view, the true Christian teachings, esoteric teachings, before the church hijacked it and all of that, and made it an exoteric teaching and all that. He calls it a time of transition. Right now, when we are transitioning from the age of the Holy Father to the Holy Son, and now the Holy Spirit, right? A next level, evolutionary level. You can call it maybe the golden age and whatnot. So there's a big opportunity in this time of transition. What the New Agers might call maybe 5D, highest, the new earth, so to speak, right? But you see this mirrored in many different traditions. So we are in a very critical time. There's no opportunity. Hence, also the Matrix is almost trying to interfere with that. These forces, they don't want us to truly awaken. But it's almost impossible for them to fully interfere there in their own delusion, their own wishful thinking. But they're going to give us a hard time. But definitely there's more and more of an awakening happening. But what's important to understand, like you mentioned, what does it mean to be awake? Like you said, rightly so, this word has been very abused over the years, right? Yeah. You're not awake just because you see through the pandemic or you understand the World Economic Forum and maybe Illuminatis and this and that. No, this is this very superficial intellectual awakening to some of the symptoms of the Matrix, right? And that's fine. It's necessary on some level. But like I mentioned before, there needs to be an emotional awakening to your inner nature. There needs to be a psychological awakening to understand yourself, your psyche, the different parts and all of that, and ultimately a spiritual awakening. And that's the ultimate awakening, to spiritualize our being, to to live from your soul being, your true self, your essence. If you spiritualized yourself, and that's far, very few in between, right? What I see now happening is more and more people coming, what it's called, out of the consensus state. There's depending on what teaching or tradition you go by. My wife Laura, she studies evolutionary astrology. This is a more profound system of esoteric astrology, not your typical astrology that's out there. But it talks about different states of development. There's the consensus state of being, which most people are in, about 70%, 75%. And what a lot of people now, they're getting into the individuated state. That is a very critical state, the process of individuation. It's also a process, what Carl Jung called the process of individuation via shadow work, anima-animus integration. And what that means, first of all, it doesn't mean to be just an individual as society calls an individual, like, with, a cult of personality and all of that. Now, to be individuated is truly to get out of the hive mind of the masses, to become a true individuated being. And that's a critical stage, because in that stage, you have to face everything you have avoided, all the lies you've been telling yourself, all the illusions about yourself, all your it usually results in rupture of relationships, marriages, family, friends, all of that, right? And it can be a very lonely phase, but that lonely phase is important in order to connect to your true self, to your individuated self. That's a critical stage before you can even dive deep into spiritual work. And I see a lot of people awakening in that right now.